Alright, this week's top 5 is a blast in the past. And of course, if you want to see more, there's going to be www.twitch.tv/rangerswamp. Link will be in the description below. And of course, hope you enjoy the video for the time loops of top 5s. Thank you very much.
Honorable mention for me is a newer movie. I'm not going to talk about this too deeply, but it does deal with time travel. It's the Tomorrow War. Your turn, Ranger Swamp.
All right. Well, this one, well, time travel adventure, is also a movie that, in comparison to like, let's say, most other time travel stories, is very new in a way. This is in the form of Avengers. Avengers Endgame.
I'm not going to add too much. This is another new TV show. This is also on Hulu.
Yeah.
It's the MODOK show. A really funny show. And a twist on a villain, MODOK the villain. It has to do with the first season has to deal with the old MODOK or the young MODOK looking at the older MODOK and saying, well, what the fuck happened? Why did you turn out the way you did? So he travels time to sort of get back. But this is a good show. If you like to laugh, if you like jokes.
My number 5, it's going to be a game that actually came out last year. Although originally it came out in 1997. This is going to be the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And we're going to enter very heavy spoiler territory. So if you don't want spoilers for Final Fantasy VII Remake, you might want to cover your ears for this one.
Or don't leave, but cover your ears.
Cover your ears, earmuffs. But yeah, we're about to get to heavy spoiler territory. This is gonna be related to a lot of the ending. But yeah, the big twist in Final Fantasy VII Remake is that the main villain, Sephiroth, is actually a version of him that is in the far future that's been already defeated several times by our main cast.
My number 4, the Superman movie. 1978, Christopher Reeve Superman, my favorite Superman of all time that will never change. Margot Kidder, a.k.a. Lois Lane. She dies in an earthquake caused by Lex Luthor himself. And you know what the fuck? Superman couldn't save her at the time, but you know what the fuck he did, Ranger Swamp?
What'd he do?
You see that picture right there?
Yeah.
He flew around the earth 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, to turn the rotation of the earth, reverse time, right? He reversed time.
He can do that.
Superman, unlike weak-ass Spider-Man, unlike weak-ass Batman, unlike weak-ass Deadpool, Naruto, whoever the fuck you want to put up there, Superman can do whatever the fuck he wants. Superman span around the earth so quickly. He reversed the rotation, turned back time, and fortunately, although the car was still wrecked, she was brought back to life. That was my big time fuck. This is my number 4. I will not deviate from that because that was actually my favorite part of the Superman movie. A lot of it was just him lifting up the helicopter, whatever. But that superpower showed you can't fuck with Superman.
Alright, for my number 4, in terms of messing with time, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, the supposed sequel to very famously known Breath of the Wild. At some point in the game, when all 4 champions, much like you see in the first Zelda Breath of the Wild game, they're all supposed to die. However, right before the finishing blow was dealt to them, they were saved by their successors, whether it's by relatives or descendants of theirs. Each of the champions end up surviving their intended deaths, and it was just an interesting moment because up until now, everything played according to how it was supposed to as a prequel, and yet here, now things are changing in terms of the timeline.
because I am a true Harry Potter fan. My number 3 is the Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban. This is the prison. This is a storyline where you have Sirius Black escape the Azkaban prison. What's your number 3, Mr. Swan?
My number 3 is going to be the Dragon Ball Z Cell Saga. And as surprising as it is to hear, this entire saga was literally just time travel. I mean, the whole, we got done with the Frieza saga, which is about intergalactic space travel. Come back to Earth, and what's the first thing you see? A boy from the future killing Frieza. And so immediately, the whole saga starts off with just time travel, and I think the long-lasting effects, this little... You wouldn't expect it to be such a... Well, I guess it is time travel, so it's a big part of the series, but it was just interesting how a whole entire large segment of the series related to this particular aspect.
My number 2 is similar to what this is a time loop, is Groundhog Day by Bill Murray. This is one of the very few movies that I can watch over and over and over again and not get bored. I think it's a clever movie. I think it just shows that you should do as much as you can with the life that you have. I think that's the point of the movie. Obviously, I would do everything that Bill Murray does, because I think he had sex with basically every woman in that city multiple times. But that being put that aside, he also tried to help out as many people as he can, just to make sure, as long as he was in control, no one died, which is what he did.
Then my number 2 is Back to the Future. I mean, it speaks for itself. The DeLorean, the going back to the past, then the movie where they went to the future, then when the movie where they went to the Wild West. I mean...
Yep. All right, so we got to get back to the game. Going to my number 1, I think is a game that sort of is a blueprint for how to do shit the right way when it talks about time traveling, when we talk about video games. And I consider it a series, although I don't know if it's officially a series or not. But it is Zelda Ocarina of Time and Zelda Majora's Mask. For me, they're connected. And for me, you have Ocarina of Time, where you go 12 years in the future, you complete missions, and then you go 12 years in the past, complete missions that are tied into the future. I sort of tie them to time together. Majora's Mask is tied into a 24-hour time period, which I also think is very clever, because it resets everything. And once you collected a piece, let's say you complete the mission where you find all the lost boys, you keep whatever you collected. I thought that was brilliant as well. But I put them together just because I just adored both those games, and I think it's number 1 just because you can play through it and you can fiddle with time. What's your number 1? Rich?
My number 1 is a game I'm sure not many people actually remember, Spider-Man: Edge of Time. And the reason why this is my number 1 is because, 1, I'm a little biased, it's Spider-Man, but 2, this was actually one of the most interesting time travel stories I've seen, because it relates to both the Spider-Man 2099 and that sort of future area, and how the past affects the future directly. And they had a term for it, they called it quantum causality. And whenever something happens in the game in the past, like let's say something gets destroyed, it immediately affects the future. Yeah. Like for example, there's a segment where there's a giant robot after the Spider-Man 2099. So of course the Spider-Man in the present time had to basically destroy the prototype robot before it get created.
Alright, and that's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.